Does God speak to you through dreams? Well, if you're anything like me, then you love the story of Joseph. In reading this story recently, the Lord gave me a really cool revelation that I'd love to share with you. Don't know the story of Joseph. Joseph is a story about Jacob, or Israel's son, who he is the favored son. He is given the gift of prophetic dreaming by God, and these dreams of, let's say, his brothers bowing down to him, or him being ruler over all. He tells his brothers these dreams, they become extremely jealous and they decide to throw him in a pit. They originally planned to kill him, but instead of doing that, they decide to sell him into slavery. And when they sell him into slavery and he's working as a slave, he moves up the ranks working for Potiphar, who's under Pharaoh. As he moves up the ranks, he catches the eye of Potiphar's wife, who tries to seduce him. And in being a man of God, Joseph does not want to betray Potiphar, and he does not want to betray God, so he refuses her advances. In refusing her advances, she makes accusations towards him, and Potiphar throws him in prison. But while in prison, he is still believing in God and still honoring God, and God uses this situation to get glory. There are two people in prison with him, the cupbearer and the baker. When they're there, they both have dreams, and they ask Joseph for interpretation of those dreams. Now, Joseph, being a dreamer, has the interpretation and gives it to each of them, and they each come to pass. Well, the baker ends up dying, and the cupbearer ends up being released from prison. And Joseph says, "Please remember me when you're released, and please tell Pharaoh about me." Well, years pass by, and there's no word. Well, one day, Pharaoh needs interpretation for his dreams, and his magicians can't do it, and no one can seem to figure out this dream. And then the cupbearer remembers Joseph, and Joseph is cleaned up and brought before Pharaoh to interpret the dreams. Interpretation is given to Joseph by God, and God gets all the glory for this. But there's something really cool in this interpretation that God gave me a revelation on that I'd like to share with you. So to give you a bit of context, I know that the Lord speaks to me prophetically through dreams, and he may speak to you prophetically through dreams. In Job 33 verses 14 through 18, it says this: "For God does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds, he may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings, to turn them from wrongdoing and to keep them from pride, to preserve them from the pit, their lives from perishing by the sword." Now, when we go back to Joseph and Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, here's what it says. "When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. In the morning his mind was troubled, so he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one could interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "Today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. Now a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream, and things turned out exactly as he interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was impaled." Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. When we skip to Joseph's interpretation, this is where the revelation comes in. Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterward are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered, because the famine that follows it will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon." And there's the revelation. 32. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. If you're a prophetic dreamer and God speaks to you through dreams, if you keep having the same reoccurring dream from God, ask the Holy Spirit the interpretation and what that means. He gave Pharaoh this dream twice in one night, because God firmly decided the matter and that he would do it soon. So what is God planning to do in your life soon that you may be missing in a dream? I recommend that you read both the story of Job and Joseph to delve further into this and receive your own revelation. Joseph is such a great story of having faith in God, having faith in what he promises you and shows you, going through trials and tribulations, knowing that God goes before you. God received all of the glory out of this, and it is quite amazing to see how Joseph, they always say he went from the pit to the palace, but the Lord showed him prophetically through dreams that he would one day rule over all, and eventually that is exactly what Joseph did. If you read the story yourself, you're going to see that Joseph actually becomes second under Pharaoh. So let me know what you think in the comments, what you think about this revelation, and if God speaks to you through dreams as well.